So it's been a while since I've been on this, and I wanted to do the last version of my New Omega Wrestling story. And the main reason why, and I took so long for this, is because I didn't really know, what to talk about. And I don't know if I wanted to go into that dark spot. Also, things in my life changed. I had a lot of dark videos on this, and I deleted them all, just because I'm kind of getting over a lot of it. So, with that being said, let's do the last story of my New Omega Wrestling time. Now, in retrospect, I will say in the end of how I felt myself as a career, or it wasn't really, I guess, a career, but as a choice to do this and to do the backyard wrestling. So I had to rewatch my old video because I didn't know where the heck I stopped. I had no idea whatsoever, and you know, the video was this. So I lost the IC title, and I was the only reason why. So here's kind of the side story of how I got this title match. So for me, they didn't even want to give me the title, because I left, so they vacated it, and I literally in a promo I took the title back, and I just said, "Oh, I'm the champion. Somebody's got to beat me for it," and I actually was told by Tech, "Don't do that," but I did it anyways. Rebel or just being an Oron, it's a little bit of both. So finally, the story comes down to this: Falcon beat me, or he didn't beat me, but he had A Rock beat me, and Sean wanted to have me and Falcon feud with each other, and it was good because like I couldn't be there every day. I couldn't be there every week. I think I was there twice a month. I was flying from New Mexico twice a month to wrestle and also to see my girlfriend at the time. Because at the prison that I was working at, I had 3 to 4 days off. And every 4 day weekend, I would fly to California. Now, a lot of people are like, dang, you must be making a lot of money. I was making good money, but the thing is, I was living with my mom and my stepdad at the time. And my mom was charging me rent, but it wasn't much. And I wasn't being the best person on paying them. I was screwing around. I already had credit card debt and everything else. I should have been paying off the debt. But, there's a lot of things that people will say. Like, there's a lot of stupid things we do when we're in love with the person. And I was so in love with this girl that I was going back and forth to see her because, anybody who's ever been in a long distance relationship knows that they suck and they rarely ever work. To those that make it work, I mean, good for you. That's awesome. But it never worked. In the end, it didn't work out for us. And so Sean tells me after we have this match, and I still say it was probably one of the best matches I've ever had, but but it wasn't anything that I wanted it to be. Now, normally, now in the wrestling business, now, you'll see like people that come back very minimal, like Undertaker or The Rock or even John Cena now, and they'll get the main event spot. Now, for some reason, I felt like I was a big deal and I should get the spots. Now, I shouldn't have. I wasn't that good. But my ego was up there. I was emotionally fragile from my dad doing what he did to me, that for some reason I felt entitled. And I think that's part of growing up, like you kind of grow up, and I'm still growing up a lot, but there's a lot of things that I need to really look at. And so me and Falcon, so Sean pulls us aside and said, hey man, I'm going to have you and Falcon face each other, and you guys are going to feud, and you're going to just have this incredible feud, and then come up with this match, and we want it to be like a best of. We're gonna do like a best of three, I think is what Sean said. So the first match, you're gonna lose, and then you're gonna build yourself back up. You're gonna win 2 matches with Falcon in a row. Now, I personally, I don't know. I didn't agree with that because I really felt like my friend wasn't going to get the proper push because I'm like, well, I just beat him twice. But I guess the main thing is Sean was looking at it as I need a. We didn't have enough baby faces. We had a lot of heels. Like all the guys on the wrestling roster, for those who may not remember, in wrestling, a heel is a bad guy and a baby face is like the good guy of the story. And so Sean really wanted me to be the good guy. And I did not want to do it. I was very anti being a good guy. I didn't want to do it. I didn't like it. But they got me to settle to be a tweener, as they called, and that's like it's like a Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're a good guy, but you do bad things sometimes to get your point, and people are so bad. It was kind of that deal. So, anyways, me and Falcon talk, and we talk about what we're gonna do in our matches. And Falcon told me that he's gonna, you know, he asked me, and he asked me because we were friends. He goes, "Is it okay when I win that I have you tap out?" Now Falcon was a submission specialist guy, and I agreed. I don't think I argued. I can't really remember that part. I just remember that part, and I agreed. And he said thank you. Now, what happened was, I went with my girlfriend after the match. You actually can see her in the corner of the match. I think even like in the highlight videos, you can see her in the corner, and she's just going like that. She's very concerned because I just went through this hardcore match, and I'm getting hit with chairs and all this other stuff, and she's not happy. And we go home and we go out to eat and everything else. I think I actually go back because I was staying with Falcon. I go back to his house and I shower. And normally, after every event that we had, the boys, we all got together, we drank, and then we watched the videos and we critiqued each other, made fun of each other. And that was the night. It wasn't just like a wrestling thing once. It was like we did a big thing with each other. And we were always together. Sorry again. But there was feuds and rivalries between people, and there was like people were taking sides with each other, and people were like this was supposed to be fun, and like there was a huge drift and rift apart even before all this stuff that I'm going to tell you that happened, where there was like a feud, like either you were, and this was like a real thing, either you were with Sean or you with Frost, like you believed one or the other guys because they were turning the roster against each other. It was pretty gnarly there. I don't understand how we did that. So the boys go hang out with each other, and I go out with my girlfriend, and I go to her house, and she has this long talk with me, and it was about our future. And that should have been a red flag. Like, hey, this is, I think, like the first maybe 2 weeks together, and we're talking about like marriage and kids, and I was like, okay, like I should have been like, wait a second, hold on, like, whoa, like, but I was young, and so she was 21, I was 23, and when you're that age, you think about the moment, like you're out of high school, but you're still really young, that you don't really know the world yet. And she said, listen, I already don't get to see you that much. And I know it's a long distance relationship, and I know that's hard for you and it's hard for me as well, but I have to look at what's going to be in our future. I said, okay, but I was like, so what does this have to do with what happened? Did something happen today? Like, what happened? She expressed how she did not like me wrestling, how she didn't like me getting hurt, she didn't like me being in there, and she was worried about my future. And she said, listen, I get it, it's cool, and you're having fun, but you can really get hurt. And what's going to happen when you get hurt so bad? And she goes, just because you did something and you're not getting paid that much for it. What's gonna happen when you get hurt so bad that I may have to take care of you, or I may have to, like, what if we have kids? Like our kids are gonna need their dad and all this other stuff. And I literally did not act right with her. I think I might have yelled at her. I don't remember. But I told her, it's like, this is my passion. I love it. It helps me be a better person. It helps me feel better. I'm going to do it. And you can accept it. Like, you're asking me to give this up, but there's things I could ask you to give up, but I know you don't want to. And you don't ever say that to a lady, guys, because that just, you're pretty much shooting yourself in the foot. And I shouldn't have said that. It caused a whole argument. Well, that fight caused a huge friction, huge issue with me and her. And I think the next couple of days, it was very uneasy with each other. And it got worse and worse. And we were fighting all the time. And it was my immaturity. I didn't trust her. I think just what happened is she had a friend at the time that hated my guts, and she would say in front of me and she had a boyfriend too, but she would say in front of me, and she would tell my girlfriend at the time to cheat on me, and she'd just flat out do it. And my ex, like, she never actually told her friend, like, hey, this is who I'm with, knock it off. She would just kind of like mumble to herself. And I think that's when, like, the paranoia kind of happened. And then all of a sudden, being long distance, now you don't know what the other person's doing. You don't know if and that's a lot of, like, immaturity, listening to the wrong people. And because they would always tell me, she's probably cheating. And then I would call her when I get out of work, and she wouldn't answer sometimes. And I would, like, where the fuck is she? And she'd be out in the club with her friends, and she would tell me all the time, like, when she went out, oh, I danced with this guy, and oh, I did this, and oh, I like, wait, what? But if I didn't answer my phone and she knew I was off, or wasn't where I'm supposed to be, guess who was pissed and accused me of cheating? She. And she would always tell me, well, I'm sure all the New Mexican women are like me, and they're probably doing things. And then, like, so, like, that just really put in there a lot of bad things. Well, this is where it gets kind of bad. She breaks up with me out of nowhere. And what happened was, I went back, and this was during another 4-day event. I went back to wrestle. And she told me that she would not pick me up if I was going to go to the wrestling match, if I was going to wrestle. And I said, and it caused an argument again, and I went. And I wrestled, and I continued my feud with Falcon. She didn't talk to me. She was so pissed that I went there. And we kept arguing, and we kept arguing. Till finally, what happened was, me and her arguing, she finally answers her phone to talk to me. And during that argument, she says, listen, I can't be with you anymore. I said, what? And she's like, yeah, I got back with my ex. I cheated on you. We're done. Bye. Hangs up. And that's it. And just completely ruined everything. And I'm not perfect, okay? I'm not trying to make this a pity party, okay? But that really sucks. That really hurts. And Falcon, because like I said, I was staying with him when I would go visit. He saw me, and he just, they did everything they could. All of them did. Matt and Justin, they all tried, and I was so emotionally distraught that I didn't know what to do. Now, for me, like, some people might say, well, you're 23. Like, you should have just, like, been over. There's a lot of reasons. So, all my high school, I didn't have one girlfriend. I didn't even have a girls that were ever interested in me. I tried to impress a ton of girls, never got anything. I still don't. I'm Look at this face. I'm pretty ugly. I understand why. Like a lot of women, they saw me. I get it why they wouldn't want to be seen with me. Totally get it. I mean, I was gonna say something messed up, but if my daughter heard this, because she may see this one day, she will probably be like, "What the hell?" So finally, I go back to New Mexico. Almost lose my job in corrections because of this girl, because I kept making excuses not to come back because I was so distraught. And I finally came back. My mom and my stepdad had a long talk with me. I went to work, got written up for not showing up to work, kept my job because they were so short. Well, we're supposed to continue this feud with Falcon. I'm so distraught, I'm not even thinking about the feud. I'm so hurt, I don't even know what else to do. And I finally come back to, I wasn't going to come back to California. And my mom agreed with me that I should not. But I made this commitment to Falcon. And I made this commitment to the guys. And I kept saying no, and I kept saying no. And I finally, Sean was pissed because I was saying no. And he ripped me one. He said I was letting the company down. I was letting them down, because this was a big deal for Sean at the time. Like, this was a huge deal. Like, this, he put a lot of time and effort into this. And I get it. He was trying to get something out of it. And I kept saying no. I kept saying no. And it was a girl named Amanda. She was the girl that photographed all of us. She's the one that convinced me to come and wrestle. And I said I would. And I talked, and then I showed up. My mom wasn't too happy, and she's like, "You better come back when you're supposed to this time." And I said I would, and I think I stayed Sunday. I flew in Sunday. I stayed Sunday night, and I flew back. No, I stayed Monday, but I flew back Tuesday. I came back a day early. Because I didn't want to be out there. And Falcon and everybody was still living their lives, working and stuff like that. But when I wrestled, I had this necklace that my ex gave me, and I said, let's incorporate that into the storyline. Why I said that, I have no idea. And it was like, I literally got just broken up, cheated on, and like I have this necklace from my ex, and we're gonna put it in the storyline. It was my idea. And Sean's like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do it. But here's the thing, like in reality, nobody really knew what it was but me and Falcon and the guys on the roster. Like anybody watching, like, well, what's the necklace got to do with anything? Who the hell is that? And like, so Falcon, like I was wrestling a match and Falcon comes out dangling the necklace, like haha. And this was my line. He did not put this. I don't know why I said this. And I was like, oh yeah, hey, you're so pathetic that your ex your manager cheated on you and left you. And that was my idea. And in reality, some people will ask me, and I still got asked to this day, like, why'd you do that? And I said, well, sometimes the best storylines in wrestling are the ones that have a hint of truth in it. But I shouldn't have done it because it was too sore of a spot. And I got back, and I was hurt because I made this match, and I made that in the story. I was just going on a downward spiral. I was going so down. And it hit me so hard that the next event was our big event, Event Omega. And that was supposed to be the match between me and Falcon, and I was going to lose. And so I was already kind of going, like I said, I was going downhill. And so Sean and Matt call me because I was refusing again to come back. And I just told, and They said, well, you need to ask Falcon, make sure he's okay with it. I asked Falcon. Falcon said, yeah, it's okay. You need time. Well, Sean and Tech didn't like that. I mean, Sean and Matt didn't like that answer. So they talked to me. They talked to me. They talked to me. And I think it was A-Rock that finally reached out to me. And I think he's the one that talked me into doing the match. And then right when I did that, Sean called me. And Sean said, are you sure? And I said, Sean, listen, man, it's not going to be a good match. It's going to be a really shitty match. I'm not in the mood. I'm not going to be in part of it. I'm not going to have my heart in it. I really don't want to do this. And same thing, went on a tyrant, really upset. And said I was letting people down, letting the company down, and all this other stuff. And I agreed. And he goes, okay. Well, so me and Matt came up with an idea, though. Okay, what's that? So we're gonna make this match an I Quit match. And well, not an I Quit match. How did Matt label it? Like a name for a name match or something. Loser loses his name. And I said, okay, well, I'm losing. And he said, yeah, so the reason why you're losing is because your name really sucks. I said, what? And he goes, yeah, your name really sucks. That name Duke needs to go away. I'm like, well, what's my name going to be then? I think Chris Reese is a perfect wrestling name. And I was like, well, can I add Chris the Machine Reese since my middle name is Michael and we were already calling me the Machine? And they said, yeah, probably. Like, I think that's a good idea. I said, okay, cool. Is that it? No. What do you mean no? What else? So your moves really suck. We really need to rethink what you're going to do in the ring. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, you can no longer do the Stone Cold Stunner as your finisher. That really sucks. You can no longer do this. You can no longer do that. We have to redo everything with you. Why? Because you suck. And I was like, and I'm just like sitting there, and I'm on the phone with Sean, and I'm like, seriously, I suck? And he goes, yeah, you suck. The people like you because you can talk on the mic, but your matches and your moves suck. They really, really suck. Like, I don't think you realize how bad you suck. Now, just thinking about this, I'm still going through this breakup. I don't know how to handle it. And like, everybody's telling me, you suck, you suck, you suck. And I'm just like, it's getting to my head now. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I said, okay, Sean. I said, is this it? And he goes, yeah. So you coming on Sunday or not? I said, yeah, I will be there. And he said, are you sure? And I said, yeah, I'll be there, Sean. Okay, is there anything else you want to tell me? And he goes, no. And I said, oh, fine. Hung up on him. The day comes when I have to show up for the match. Falcon picks me up. And I told Falcon, like, listen, I'm not going to be into this. I'm just not. And I'm sorry. Right away, I told him, I'm sorry, this match is going to be awful. And Falcon said, are you sure you want to do this? And I said, I'm here, man. Might as well. And he goes, okay. And he told me, he goes, like, I appreciate this a lot. And I know this is hard for you. And me and Falcon go out there. We have this match. Awful match. I was not into it. I didn't care. I didn't want to be there. I was pissed. And everybody could tell. And there was people in the crowd rooting for me. And I was just done. I did not want to be in this match. It was awful. I think I just was like tripping around. I really was not into it. And I tapped out. And, Falcon sits there and all that. And, he walks out and he does this thing. Well, I'm still in the ring. And The original ending was I was supposed to lose. I get up and I would just kind of sit there and stare at that and have like this lost look of like, I don't even have a name anymore, you know? Like, who am I? And then I was supposed to just walk, and then I was just supposed to get on the mic and I was like, my name, the name Duke will maybe gone. But then I was supposed to go, but I am the machine and I will be back. And that was it. That's all I was supposed to say. Walk out, and I think I was gonna get a month off, and like I was gonna be gone for a month. I think Sean wanted to push it for 2, just to really emphasize it to have the point of like even the crowd would forget about me. But this is what got to me. I'm already emotionally fragile. Is and I don't think he meant it this way, but Chris Reckless gets the whole roster to start chanting, "You suck. You have no name. You suck." And that just got me. And I think you can see me, that's when I snap. And I legitimately grab the mic and and everybody stops talking. Well, I didn't say, well, that part. I didn't say I'm the machine. I said, I'm done with this company. I said, I'm done with these people in the back. I said, I'm done with these politics and these people that don't get a shot. I said, like, we have a champion here who is literally smaller than half the roster, but he's the champion. I was like, he's only the champion because he didn't want to face me in the ring. He's only the champion because he's a coward and he plays political games in the back. And I was like, and all these people in the back are just mocking me and thinking that I'm somebody, or like thinking that I'm nobody and treating me like shit. I said, fuck you, fuck this company. I'm done. I retire. I quit. Fuck this place. And I dropped the mic and I left. And my world was done. And I came back, you know, I couldn't leave. Falcon was going to take me back to his house. But he asked me, he's like, hey man, you should stay and still support them. I said, no. I said, fuck them. And he goes, man, you know, like, come on, like, we got to stay and support people, you know, like, and I said, no. I did. Yeah, I stayed. But you know that awkward, like when you know you said something wrong and that awkward, like everybody's like kind of weird around you? It was that bad. Because I just bashed every single person. And we talked and we went to Falcon's house and we watched the matches and they rewatched my promo. I could hear it. And I just stayed in the room. And none of the guys talked to me about it. At all. And they just didn't talk to me. It was the end of the friendship. Besides with Falcon. And Static. Matt and Tom and Rebel eventually forgave me pretty quick. And they understood my frustration and I understood that they went too far. But what happened, it was just kind of done. I left and I was the last day I was there. I was erased from the history with them for a long time. I was mocked and made fun of when I was gone for a long, long time. And I was never welcomed back. The only time I almost came back was there was still people chanting for me, I guess. People were still bringing signs that said, I guess I had my own Austin 316 moment because apparently there was a guy that came out there and he came out with a sign that said Duke 316. And he was a wrestling fan. He said, like, that was pretty cool how we just trashed on everybody. And I guess a lot of people thought, except for the people in the back, they thought it was a storyline. They thought I was coming back. I never came back. I asked. The roster was happy. The only two that did not want me back was Sean and Frost. And that was it. I was never, because those two didn't want me back, it didn't matter. I was not allowed to come back. The last thing I know, the last event was held maybe about 10 years ago now. I really wanted to go back to wrestle because it was the last event that they were holding. They were getting shut down. The company that literally Sean started got popular. Crowds were showing up. The one time that I wrestled for, I think it was this, I think it was that hardcore match. I wrestled in front of like 150 people, which was really cool, and they were chanting for me, which was awesome. But it got to the point that they were getting like 300 or 400 people showing up to this backyard to watch these matches. And they were selling beer there without a license. They were buying 30 packs of Bud Light, and they were selling those things for like $3 a can. And they were selling food. It got so bad. And I found this out not too long ago. Static told me that the police showed up with aerial footage of all the violations. And it was so bad. So many people were showing up that the whole street, all the streets were just, nobody could even get into their own houses, into the community. And it was all because of them. And that was pretty funny. So they did one more match, one more event, and they said goodbye. And I wanted to come back. And Matt was cool about me coming back. But same thing, Sean and Frost did not forgive me. And they said, no, he can come and watch, but he will not step foot in the ring. That broke my heart. But I understood. But it broke my heart. The last remembrance of what I could have done was so Matt and Chris Reckless now do a great YouTube channel. Unfortunately, they're getting demonetized like crazy in recent times. It's called Reckless Eating. Great show, great channel. Unfortunately, I don't watch it as much anymore just because they can't do what they were doing. A lot of stuff they were doing was just freaking hilarious. And it sucks for the YouTube algorithm that they can't do what they're doing. They're getting like banned all the time, and they don't do anything bad. They literally eat like crappy food, bad food, or they do 100 beers and 100 shots of beer in 100 minutes, 100, like a lot of the funny stuff. And Matt said on there, on one of the channels, he said, you know what? I want to bring back New Mega Wrestling for one night. And he was dead serious on doing it. I asked, out of the shot of asking, hey man, I really want to wrestle. Can I please do it? Please count me in. I don't care if I'm the first match, the middle, or I just want to be in the ring one more time. And I want to show my daughter what I can do in this. And Matt said yes. This was in 2019. Right when it was going to happen, the pandemic happened. Everything's been off since then. Matt flat out said it's probably never going to happen. And that was it. That was it. It's not been back since. And now we're all in our late 30s. Don't think it's ever going to happen. So all in all, in retrospect, I loved my time until the end in New Omega Wrestling. It was something that I hold dear to my heart still. I was a crappy wrestler. I was horrible. I was not good at it. I was not strong. I was very out of shape. But I got to be with my friends. I got to be a hero and a villain. Everything a child wants to be. If you look at it in a wrestling organization, I was telling my friends I trust them so much that they can hurt my body and I know that they're going to take care of me. That was amazing. We were brothers, and brothers fight. And I took it to the extreme, and I said the wrong things. And I know none of the guys will ever see this, but if in the chance that they do, I'm very sorry for my attitude, my character. Very sorry for thinking I was better. Very sorry for my emotional distraught. Very sorry for not being a better friend when you guys all were my friends. But I would never trade those memories in the world. And I miss every single one of those guys. Except maybe Frost. I don't know. There's not really a lot I can say about that guy. But I have to let that go. And honestly, like, I think if I sat down with him one-on-one, we could just, like, look at it. And it's stupid. Like, I'm mad at him for a fake wrestling company. Like, a fake wrestling match. I'm like, come on, Chris. Like, get over yourself. It's stupid. But I loved it. I'll never trade that for anything in the world. And if there's ever a chance that I can do it again, I will. I definitely would. But there is some injuries to this wrestling thing that happened. As I said, I'm 36 now. As I got older from these matches, and I did a lot of hardcore matches, I started getting more headaches. I started feeling bad. I started getting like really migraines and I couldn't really focus. I finally got an MRI or a CAT scan on my head. And on my left side of the brain, there are spots in the brain. And they are from injuries. And the only injuries I can think of is pro wrestling from getting hit with a lot of chairs. And the doctor told me to my face, as I get older, they will get worse. They are getting worse. I can handle it, but they are getting worse. They're more frequent now. And it sucks. But I can deal with it. I can still go. I can still be fine. My joints are pretty messed up. I know Falcon's got a ton of injuries. Everybody's got a ton of injuries from it. But the one thing we all say is we will take those injuries for all the memories we got. And I know Falcon's hurting a lot too. I think he has to walk with a cane sometimes. And Falcon's even told me part of that was because of that chair shot I gave him. And I feel bad every single day for that. But he forgave me. That's just kind of brothers, I guess we are. So with that being said, that was my journey in New Omega Wrestling. And like I said, I'll tell you guys again, I'm sorry. But thank you all for the memories. Thank you all for the journey. Thank you for everything. I'll try to think of another video to upload on this channel as my journal. I'll have to see some ideas. I think maybe I'll talk about how video games saved my life. I think that'll be the next video I do. And with that being said, good night. And thank you all for joining me on my journey with me.